Hey, what's up? This is Scott with Level Up Tuts, and today we're going to add on to our first function, and we're going to learn what an argument is and how to accept an argument into a function. So sometimes you want to be able to have a function take values and modify them or output them or do something with them. In fact, more often than not, your functions are going to have arguments. And let's do a very most basic example of an argument. So I'm going to get rid of everything we had there in our first function. I'm going to get rid of this console log as well. And I'm going to have our name Scott right here, right? And notice how right now we're just console logging yo-yo. Now if we refresh here, it's just console logging yo-yo. For our first argument example, what we're going to do is we're going to accept a parameter to this function, and we're simply going to console log it. Now, to define an argument, all you have to do is declare it within these parentheses here. We can say arg. I'm just giving this a name. Of course, you're going to want your arguments' names to be something that is worthwhile. So for right now, we're just, as an example, this is your argument. Now, when we console log, instead of console logging yo-yo, we're going to console log arg, just like that. And so by having this argument here, it's basically turning it into a variable that's used in your function. Now, when we run this, it's going to say undefined. So why is it saying undefined here? Well, we're saying run first function, and it's console logging arg, but arg doesn't exist. So we want to pass arg into this run first function, and we can put a string in here, and it just says yo. Now if I refresh this, it's going to say yo. Now if we have this first function again, and I want to pass this the name variable that we defined up here, it's not going to say yo Scott. Cool. So you'll notice that we can pass it anything here, and it's going to console log it. And we can keep doing this. We can even give this a number, because why not? So 3, here we go. Now, this function is pretty much just console logging whatever we throw in here. What happens if we want to have two arguments? What if we want to have a greeting and a name? So let's check this out. We can actually say greeting, comma, name. Now, the greeting is going to be the first argument, name is going to be the second argument, and we can say greeting. Now, if we do a plus, space, and then inside of quotes, a space, just like this, and then plus name, what this is going to output is going to output the greeting, and then a space, a blank space, and then name. So let's pass in first function. We're going to pass in yo, comma, and then name, which of course is Scott. Now it's going to say on one line, yo, Scott. And of course, if we change this name to Bill up top here, yo, Bill. Or if we change this to a string, Scott again, yo, Scott. So we're throwing these arguments into this function, and it's using them here. So this is how you use arguments in a function. Notice how by using these arguments, it's not affecting this name variable. It's not doing anything, but simply passing these values into the function and then doing something with them. Now, this could be important. Let's say we have num1 and num2, and we want to have these just adding. And let's say we can say num1 plus num2, and now it's going to console log the addition of these two numbers. So let's go ahead and give it two numbers. So 3 and 2, we're going to now see a console log of 5. So what's happening here is it's getting number 1 is 3, it's getting number 2 is 2, and it's console logging them together. Now, what's another way we could achieve this exact same thing? Well, you could have this console log outside of your function, and then it will make your function even more usable. Because right now this function is just console logging it. We want this function to simply just return the addition of two variables. So, like I just actually said in English, we want it to return the addition. We use the keyword return. And you'll notice that's highlighted there. So we're returning num1 plus num2. Now if we run this function, nothing gets output because we didn't tell anything to console log. Even though it's running this function and it's returning these two numbers added together, return doesn't really do anything other than spit something out here. But here we're not telling this to do anything, so of course it's not console logging. So what we can do is say console.log and wrap this first function in a console log. So now it's going to run this and it's going to say log the first function of 3 and 2. Let's refresh, and of course it's outputting 5. And you can obviously see the strength in this if we do something like 3 and 8. Now it's 11. Now of course there are functions and things to do stuff like this, but this should give you a good example of how to use a return and what you can do with it. Now, this is just a very small example, and we're going to be going over quite a bit more, but this is a basic introduction to functions. So you should have a good idea about how to use functions, how to return, and how to use arguments. So please go ahead and play with code, try a whole bunch of stuff, try to break things, then fix it, solve it, do whatever you can. So as always, this is Scott with Level Up Tuts. If you have any questions or comments, leave a comment on the video or hit us up at Twitter or Level Up Tuts. Let us know what you're thinking. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. Bye.